What happens when the young star they thought was too sweet to push back decides her silence isn't up for sale anymore? The lights on the view stage felt warm. That daytime TV warmth that hides sharp edges under polite giggles and clinking mugs. Sydney Sweeney sat at the end of the table, her hands folded in her lap, her eyes soft but steady. She'd come to talk about her new film, maybe share a story about the parts of fame that still felt new, the small-town girl in the big city glow. But down the table, Joy Behar's grin curved a little too wide. Her fingers drummed on her mug like a countdown no one else heard. The audience clapped on cue, but the hush under the giggles said they were waiting for the moment someone pushed Sydney too far, just to see if she'd break. And somewhere behind the blinking applause sign, that break was closer than they realized. Joy Behar flipped her cue card like it was a knife she planned to twist with a grin. She leaned forward, her tone dipped in that fake warmth that always came before the dig. "Sydney, you talk a lot about staying grounded, about staying close to your family. But let's be honest, it's easy to look sweet when you come from all that privilege, right? You really think people buy that you're just a regular girl?" A nervous laugh flickered through the audience, but died fast when Sydney didn't flinch. She tilted her head just slightly, her voice calm enough to hush the giggles. "I never said I was just a regular girl, Joy. I said I know who I am and where I come from. That's different." Sunny Hostin shifted in her chair, her pen hovering above her notes. Whoopi stared down at her mug, not moving an inch. Joy's grin sharpened. "But you do realize a lot of people think your family's politics don't match your brand. Some people say you act sweet here, but sit silent when it counts. What do you say to that?" A low rolled through the audience. That hush that meant they knew Joy had crossed the line she thought would break Sydney's calm. Sydney's fingers tapped her knee once. "I'd say it's easy to talk about other people's families when you're not the one holding them together." The hush snapped tight around the table. The next word wouldn't come from Joy's card. It would come from the crack she just made too wide to close. Joy Behar's grin twitched, but she pushed on, her voice pitching up just enough to sound smug. "So you're defending it? You're standing by people who don't stand by what you claim to believe? That's convenient, Sydney." A soft gasp slipped through the front row, a tiny crack that cut right through the polite laughter they thought would protect Joy's jab. Sydney didn't look away. She rested her hands flat on the table, her voice even but sharp enough to hush the stage. "It's not convenient. It's called loyalty. Something you talk about but don't seem to understand." Sunny Hostin's pen tapped twice, then stilled. Whoopi's eyes flicked up for half a heartbeat before dropping back to the mug she held like a shield. Joy let out a brittle chuckle, trying to spin it back. "Oh, come on, sweetie. Loyalty's nice when it sells your nice girl image, but you can't have it both ways. So which is it? Are you really this perfect family princess, or just another Hollywood fake?" A ripple of rolled through the audience, that low sound that feels like the room itself holding its breath. Sydney leaned forward, her eyes locked on Joy's, her next words so quiet they snapped the hush tighter. "Say what you want about me, but don't pretend you care about my family when all you want is a headline to twist." The mug in Joy's hand rattled against the table, and in that frozen moment, everyone felt it. Sydney Sweeney wasn't here to play nice anymore. Joy Behar's fingers tapped so hard against her mug now that the soft thud echoed louder than her fake laugh. She leaned in, her grin gone, her voice dripping with that smug bite she used when she wanted to corner someone. "Oh, so now you're the victim? Little Sydney, too good for a real question? Maybe you should toughen up if you want to play in the big leagues, sweetheart." Sydney Sweeney's jaw tensed, but she didn't flinch. She sat up straighter, her eyes sharper than they'd been all morning. "A real question? That's not what this is, Joy. This is you pretending you care when what you really want is a crack you can spin into clicks." A low hummed through the back row. Sunny Hostin shifted in her seat, eyes darting between Joy and Sydney, her pen frozen halfway to her notes. Joy scoffed, her voice rising. "Please, you've had every door opened for you. Your family, your money, your so-called relatable act. Don't stand here and lecture me about spin." Sydney leaned in, her tone soft enough to press the hush even tighter. "I'm not lecturing you. I'm telling you I see you. You poke at people's families, call it courage, and hide behind a mug when they push back. Joy's mouth opened, but the words caught before they landed. Whoopi still wouldn't lift her head. The audience leaned forward, phones raised, catching every unedited second of the crack Joy had just opened too wide to fix. And in that heavy quiet, Sydney's next line was already loaded. Joy Behar's grin was gone for good now, replaced by that tight line that always slipped out when the punchline failed to land. She tried to chuckle, but it cracked halfway up her throat. "Oh, so now you're some truth teller, Sydney? You think you're so tough because you snapped back once on TV." Sydney Sweeney's eyes didn't waver. Her hands stayed folded, her voice calm but iron-edged. "No, Joy. I think I'm tired. Tired of being polite while you poke at people's families like it's your right." A ripple of low rolled through the front row, a sound so raw it made Sunny Hostin set her pen down for good. Whoopi stared at the table, her fingers tapping a slow, silent beat. Joy leaned back, her laugh sharp and empty. "Sweetheart, if you can't handle a real question, maybe you should stick to reading lines someone else writes for you." Sydney's lips curved, not into a smile, but into that cold softness that says a door is about to slam shut. "Funny, Joy. That's exactly what you're doing right now. Reading lines you think make you look brave while you sell someone else's pain." A gasp slipped through the audience, phones lifting higher to catch the truth before the cameras could smooth it out. Joy gripped her mug so tight it rattled against the glass. "You don't get to call me fake, kid." Sydney's voice dropped so low it pressed the hush deeper. "I'm not calling you fake. I'm just saying I'm done pretending you're not." And in that frozen quiet, every eye stayed locked on her, waiting to see if she'd stand. Joy Behar's eyes darted down the table again, searching for a lifeline that never came. Whoopi still wouldn't look up. Sunny Hostin pressed her lips together, her notes untouched, her pen resting like she'd decided no spin could fix what was unraveling now. Joy's voice turned brittle, desperate for a laugh that didn't come. "So what now, Sydney? You gonna storm off and make yourself the victim? Show everyone how fragile you really are?" Sydney Sweeney's jaw flexed once. She leaned in, her elbows resting on the table, her tone so soft it carved the hush even deeper. "No, Joy. I'm showing people they don't have to sit here and smile while someone tries to twist their family into a punchline." A soft rolled through the audience. That sound that feels like a slow clap held back out of respect for a line that cut too close to fake laughter to drown out. Joy scoffed, but her words cracked. "Don't act like you're so brave. You got famous for playing parts. This is just another performance." Sydney's lips curved. Not a smile, just that calm edge that shows you the door before you know you've been asked to leave. "You're right. This is a performance. Yours." The hush wrapped tighter, the lights feeling hotter than they had all morning. Joy's hand clenched her mug like it was the only thing keeping her from shattering in plain sight. And in that stillness, Sydney's next line was the match she'd been holding behind her teeth the whole time. Sydney Sweeney let the hush stretch, the silence pressing so close it made the lights feel like a spotlight she was no longer willing to share. She pushed her chair back, not fast, not theatrical, just steady enough that the scrape of it against the studio floor felt louder than Joy Behar's next insult could ever hope to be. Joy's mouth opened, but no words came out. Her hand drummed on her mug like it might drown out the crack she could no longer patch over with a grin. Whoopi stayed frozen, eyes locked on her folded hands. Sunny Hostin just sat there, still and small, the notes on her card untouched. Sydney stood, her voice low but carrying through every mic. "I showed up to talk about the work, the stories that matter, the people who still believe honesty means something. But I'm not going to sit here and let you twist my family into your sideshow." A soft gasp rose from the back row, not shock, but that raw edge of truth that no applause sign could bury. Joy leaned forward, her voice brittle. "So that's it. You're running away?" Sydney's eyes locked on her, clear, calm, done. "No, Joy. I'm done pretending for you." She turned away from the table, the hush wrapping her exit like a final line no spin could edit out. And when the clip spread, it wasn't Joy's question people replayed. It was Sydney's last word echoing in every comment thread. "I'm done pretending for you." For once, the table didn't get its headline. The truth took it back.